Hi guys, and welcome to our review of this beautiful Peugeot 3008 beautiful unit. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm excited about this because I haven't seen anything like this year.
This is a brilliant car, and you know, Fanie, we've got a MAC index that tells us where our currency fares worldwide. I want to know what our intelligence index is. Because so many people are so against French brands, and I don't understand it. This is a phenomenal car, and the fact that people still have an issue with it shows we're not a very intelligent country.
I hear you, and I have to almost agree with you, Pete, because like we drive a lot of cars, a lot of different cars, and this one probably excited me the most this year. I don't know if you agree, like from the exterior styling to the interior, which is very polarizing at the moment if I look at some of the comments that we got. But everything about this just screams to me. I'm like a really automotive kind of guy, you know what I'm saying?
Well, when I was in the UK recently, we hired the previous facelift 3008. And we loved it, absolutely loved it. It gave us great fuel consumption. Everybody that got in and out of the vehicle was amazed. So I was really looking forward to driving the facelift version.
Very, very distinctive front grille here, Pete. Again, with this theme of the lion's fangs.
Yeah.
And this integrated sort of, you know, flowing into the bodywork here.
I mean, who does that? You know, you can see the, like you said, flowing into the bumper. It just shows, again, attention to detail in terms of the design.
Full LED technology at the front, headlights, daytime running lights, integrated indicator into this sort of fang here. I love the look of this vehicle. What is this?
Well, that's your forward-facing radar.
Okay.
So obviously the forward-facing collision avoidance systems and your active cruise control functionality all run from that. And you'll see also in the windscreen, you've got your stereoscopic cameras.
Yes, like
yeah.
I want to open the bonnet quickly. What engine does this have, Pete?
So this has got a 1.6 litre turbocharged engine.
Yeah.
And I think I want to move away from saying, it's got this amount of kilowatts and that amount of torque. The reality is this is a new generation direct injection turbocharged engine that performs brilliantly. And I think the proof is going to be in the pudding when we drive the vehicle and we're able to give feedback. But what I like about Peugeot again is it goes from beyond good looking outside to look at the interior and the layout and the attention to detail that we find even in the engine bay.
One thing that I want to ask you before we go and drive the car isn't a 1.6 litre turbo engine with a body this size? Do you think,
if it was a 1.6 litre normally aspirated, we could have that argument. But the reality is that between direct injection technology and turbocharging, you can have a smaller displacement engine that gives you the same performance as a larger normally aspirated engine.
Okay.
So absolutely not a problem at all.
All right, let's have a walk around to the side here because I want to tell you about this tyre here. Standard execution Continental tyres here, but this is a little bit of an odd size, a 235/50 19-inch tyre. So I would sort of recommend that you put some money aside for when it's time to change tyres.
But listen, you're making such a saving on the car in any case that to spend a little bit of money on the tyres is not an issue.
I hear you. The flowing lines here, you happy with everything that we see? I like this sort of blacked out pillar here on the side, again with the theme continued, with the claw marks almost in the rear lights.
In the rear lights, yeah.
While we're at the back, I want to show you this. I unlocked the car, and this was one of the questions that we had on the page the other day. I didn't do anything, just my foot at the bottom. Check at that.
So you can be holding something.
Yeah.
With both hands?
And this is again in that very premium bracket, eh?
Ah, for sure, for sure.
Boot size, amazing. You've got, let me show you this quickly.
Oh, you see, now look at that. Now you don't have to lean all the way forward.
How's about that?
That's proper.
Yeah.
Enjoy that.
And I like the fact that it's got a straight lip here, so it's not sunken in. And there you go, another full size spare.
Yeah. Now this is awesome. I love this feature. I've got to say, that's classy.
Yeah. Ticks all the boxes, eh?
For sure.
Okay, Pete, so getting into the back of this 3008.
So the world famous now Fanie Fit.
The Fanie Fit. I'm glad to say that this actually surprised me a lot. There's a lot of space at the back here. This seat is in the driving position, and I've got more than enough space at the back.
Yeah, look at, I mean,
Yeah.
very-
And there is something to say about the seats and the comfort that you experience.
it's amazing because normally rear seats, I don't know why, are very uncomfortable, but this is magic.
We've got a cover coming down here with, we've got some cup holders in there.
And if we do have another winter like we had this winter, then we can put our skis through here.
No, this is when you go to Arties with your damn skis. Okay. At the back here, we've got air vents. We've got the USB chargers at the back there, which makes this the perfect little family car. It will make sure the kids are happy.
Yeah, I mean, look, there is plenty of headroom. You know, normally again at the rear, the roof starts to taper and slope down, and yeah, it doesn't.
We've got sort of these lights here at the back, which is almost very airplane-like. Again, where's the button for the stewardess? That's all I'm missing. All right, let's go. Okay, so Peter, we are inside this beautiful-looking car, but I wanted to ask you specifically your first impression with this red leather interior. There's a bit of a wood finish and chrome and all sorts of, it's just completely different. So what's your first impression?
Sophistication is really the word that I'd use to describe it. I mean, you look at the switchgear that we've got and the way that it's been intelligently laid out, but it's still very cool looking. It looks very expensive the way that they've done this. The seats, the stitching on the seats, the ergonomics of the driver cockpit. I mean, you are sitting in a separated cockpit over here with all your controls that are sort of recessed away like this. I mean, it's just absolutely stunning, really.
The small steering wheel's quite different to what we used to. Flat at the top, flat at the bottom, very racer-like steering wheel.
We were very critical of the steering wheel when we drove the 2008. And the reason for that was because we couldn't see through to the cluster.
Correct.
But now you can see where the steering wheel belongs because the cluster on the 3008 is well above the top of the steering wheel, and now it makes sense.
Yes, and obviously you can move this up and down and in and out and all that sort of stuff to make sure that you're comfortable. But where this steering wheel sits right now, I'm more than comfortable with everything. Okay, the red seats.
The red seats work for me. They're not gaudy, so they're not over the top. Not everybody's cup of tea, though. I'm sure there are going to be people who go, ooh, but that's why there are options and choices in life. So what works for you might not work for me, but that's cool.
And I said that everything in this package is so different that it really appeals to me. I like the fact that it's got the red and this wood finish in here.
Yep.
Everything just works in a very weird way. I'm very excited to go drive this car.
Well, then let's go drive.
No, but before we do that, I want to ask you about the sound system, because this is the GT line, and this has got a very, nice sound
The focal system.
Oh, is that how you say it? Because it's Focal. South Africans can get that wrong. Focal. Okay, so let's listen to that while we drive, but let's go.
Okay, awesome.
All right, Pete, we had a lot of talking inside and outside, but this is the business end of this Peugeot 3008. I've been looking forward to driving this for a long time, since our review of the 2008, because we actually saw this on the floor then. This is next level, bro. I'm so excited. Like I said, this appeals to the automotive fan, the car guy.
For sure, and I mean, just a few things that immediately stand out for me is we've gone over a pretty rough road in terms of bumpiness, as well as some nice tight turns, and the vehicles felt very, very secure.
Yes.
There's very little body roll, but at the same time, it's still quite comfortable.
And I cannot believe the power delivery from this 1.6 litre turbo engine. We spoke about that, and I even asked you, do you think, body power to weight ratio, do you think they'll manage here? And it's a definite yes.
For sure. And as I said to you, we had a vehicle for about 2 weeks in the UK, the 3008.
Yeah.
I think we filled up once and we drove all over the place. So we used 2 tanks in 2 weeks basically. But I mean, we were proper tourists. We went all over the place. So fuel consumption is awesome on it. It's nice and quiet. Power delivery is there.
Okay, so maybe go through this system for me again, if you don't mind, while I'm driving. What we're going to do now, while he's just getting familiar with that, is we're going to take this up onto the highway. And this is a very well-known uphill where there's a lot of breakdowns every week with trucks going up this hill. So we're going to get onto the highway, and then we'll be able to, give it a little bit of a oomph and just to see. And that was a nice touch. There's a blind spot, warning in the mirror that I just saw there as well.
So one of the things that we spoke about is the very, very cool switchgear that we see over here. So this switchgear on the top actually is for the multifunction display over here. So if you want to set your music and sound, you press that music icon over there. If you want to adjust your aircon settings, you press that button over there and you get all your various aircon settings. Navigation, your car settings, your phone, and then lastly, if you've got any connected apps as well. And then the buttons underneath regulate things like heated seats, and we've got 2 buttons for front and rear demister, and we've got a recirculate button, and we can unlock and lock the vehicle.
Speaking about the seats, not only just heated, but this driver's seat has got a massage function. Did you know that?
Oh, wow. You see.
Listen, I just want to note that we've come up to this uphill. We got up to 120 with no problems whatsoever, and I'm actually just going to try and squeeze in here and take the turn off again. No issues with power delivery on this 1.6 litre engine, Pete.
Now, another interesting thing to make note of is that you've got your paddle shift in front of the steering wheel there.
Yes.
So if you had to just touch the paddle shift, it would select a gear that you want to go into, but it remains in automatic.
All right.
So immediately that you leave the paddle shift, it remains in automatic. If you want it to act like a manual paddle shift, you press this button over here, which puts it into manual. And now, for example, you're in 5th gear. If you change down, it will go into 4th.
So I see there it says manual 4th gear.
Yes. Now if I release that button, then it's drive
4th gear. Okay, awesome.
A couple of things I wanted to point out to you. First of all, we have some driving modes here. Now, I don't know if you are aware of this, but before we got into the vehicle, I actually preset this to eco.
So, which was the most economical.
And yet you found the vehicle to be quite punchy. So I'm going to stick it into a second drive mode, which is normal.
Yeah.
And
see, stuff changed.
And it changes the look and feel of the cluster. And again, we're coming up to another heart attack hill here, where it will test the performance of the engine. So I'll leave it in normal for now.
No, but stick it into sport, man.
Okay. All right, we stick it into sport, and what do we see? It goes red.
Oh, look at that. And immediately I could feel.
I could feel there's a little bit of a whoa. So
that's nice.
Look at that, eh?
Awesome, man. Just no worries up this hill whatsoever. Your technology is amazing, isn't it?
It's cool, eh?
Yeah.
Now the other thing is we should make mention of is the sound system.
Yeah, we spoke about this this weirdly named focal sound system. Yeah, tell me about it.
So it's a pity we can't play music, because otherwise YouTube has a heart attack and Facebook has a heart attack. But we turned up the volume just now, and it reminded me a lot of the Bowers-Wilkins system that we found in the XC90, which to that point was one of the best sound systems we'd come across.
Correct.
This is very, very close to that, I must say.
I agree. And Pete, I want to actually throw this out to the viewers. I'd like you to go to a Peugeot dealership, go drive this car for yourself, and come back to us and tell us what you don't like. Like the only thing that and we mentioned this in the intro, the specific color coordination combo here might be a little bit polarizing, but that's not the only options that you have. But I'd like you to go to a Peugeot dealership, go drive this car and tell me what you don't like. Okay, so let's get back to the studio. I think we need to rate this car and tell everybody what we think. Pete, you know that I've got a bit of a thing when it comes to driving cars. You know that I'm more of a bike guy.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is that driving my bike or riding my bike is just always exciting and it is appealing and whatever the case is. And this is the closest that I've come to that sort of feeling this year. It's like you said, it's almost like flying a plane. It's a cockpit, man.
Now this has been a really remarkable vehicle. I mean, we were discussing it earlier. This has got to be, I think this year certainly the highlight of the year that we've had
And
so
it's
far.
so weird, man. It's a Peugeot. All right, Pete. Let's do the rating quickly, and I'm just gonna say this is for me a 10 out of 10, maybe an 11 out of 10.
Well, think about it this way. I mean, if you look at what else you can get this size, this genuinely plays with the BMWs and the Mercs of the world in terms of SUVs.
Yeah.
And those are nudging £1 million.
Correct.
Whereas this is a lot cheaper. And I think for that as well, I'm absolutely going to say 10 out of 10. It's just, I can't fault it really.
Yeah.
I just cannot
Build
fault it.
quality, the look and feel, everything design. I would definitely buy one.
Well, for sure. I'm a bit of a biased Peugeot fan. I own a Peugeot as well. So there's no doubt I'd buy this. And I think everybody should really give this a good look because the value for money, the build quality, what you get in this, it's a sensational vehicle.
Agreed. Well, I think, is that the first time that we've both given a car 10 out of 10?
Yeah, I think it is, eh?
Well,
yeah.
we'll see you again next week, guys. Have a wonderful time.
Cheers.